Good morning. Our gospel today is a continuation of Luke's story begun last Sunday, and which Mother Jahan illuminated so powerfully and brilliantly last week. So I commend to you that sermon, which is on our website. Paul's epistle for today is a magnificent description of love, which I suspect you've heard expounded at just about every wedding you've attended. So today I'm going to tackle the Jeremiah reading about destruction and redemption. Now, perhaps oddly, this news story from the field of primatology seems a good way into Jeremiah's troubling oracle. Yakai, a female Japanese macaque monkey, upended centuries of male dominance when she took over as the alpha leader of her tribe. She now presides over a troop of 677 monkeys in the Takasakiyama Zoological Garden. Yakai's ascent to alpha status surprised both scientists and game reserve workers, who are now closely observing Yakai's reign to see how long she can maintain her supremacy. They surmise she will lose her alpha status when mating season begins. They expect the male she chooses will supersede her. These expert primatologists assume that her reign is an aberration and that soon all will go back to normal. They cannot imagine or conceive that this is the new normal. Yet, as we have learned, change has a way of progressing, of not being halted or reversed. In the Old Testament lesson for today, Jeremiah has been anointed by God to tell the people of Judah that the life they have known, trusted, and become complacent about will be eviscerated. They will be overtaken by Babylonia, all Jewish citizens deported, exiled, and their capital city, Jerusalem, residents of God, will be sacked. Jeremiah begs God to choose another. Being a prophet of doom and judgment is not a good job at all, full of danger and scorn. Not a job for anyone who seeks to be well-liked and esteemed. But as we shall see, God often calls us to let go of what we prefer and instead to profess what they are loath to hear. The people want Jeremiah to assure them that while there will be a big change in power dynamics soon, or at least eventually, all will return to normal. They want Jeremiah to mimic the primatologists and assure them that the change in their status will be short-term. And he can't, because that is not what Yahweh wants the people to hear. Yahweh wants the people to hear that life can be and often will be upended. But what will emerge from the rubble for sure is divine salvation and redemption. When we look carefully at the verb words God asks Jeremiah to proclaim, destroy, overthrow, build, plant. We see the path to hope. Indeed, God will send powerful political forces to destroy and overthrow Judah's political sovereignty. But God will also send the power to build and to plant. Redemption, deliverance, salvation are coming, says Yahweh through the mouth of the prophet Jeremiah. But they do not come from inertia, complacency, or indifference. They emerge when and as we destroy and overthrow those systems which distort the lives of God's people. Systems of domination must be toppled for God's kingdom to come. Through Jeremiah today, we are called to hear the voice of God proclaim, I will move in unexpected ways. I will move in change, disruption, and dynamism. And we are called to participate in toppling lifeless, stagnant domination, to train our hearts to welcome the unexpected by dismantling systems of oppression, of injustice, of degradation, of disregard, and to build and to plant a beloved community. And luckily, we have models to follow. The Reverend Dr. Polly Murray, who has been called a saint in the Episcopal Church, found herself called to topple Jim Crow laws. Her call came from her very temperament. She could not tolerate injustice. During her youth, Jim Crow laws were used to viciously restrict the lives of Black citizens. Murray was revolted. She resolved first to get a good education. In 1925, she entered Hunter College in New York. She lived in Harlem, where she met the stars, Langston Hughes, W.E.B. Du Bois, and reveled in the live jazz of Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway. Life seemed good. But then the Great Depression hit. Out of work and with no prospects, she decided to pursue a law degree at Howard University. But there she was introduced to and hampered by Jane Crow. On her first day, a professor belittled her by asking aloud in class why any woman would study law. Yet her final law school paper became the basis for Thurgood Marshall's successful overturning of constitutional sanctions for segregation. Brown versus the Board of Education. Murray went on to have a long, distinguished, and agonizingly difficult career. In her late 60s, Murray was galvanized by Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither slave nor free. There is neither male nor female. And she experienced a call to become an Episcopal priest. On January 8th, 1977, Murray became the first African American woman to be vested as an Episcopal priest. Murray wrote in 1970, "If anyone should ask a Negro woman in America what has been her greatest achievement, her honest answer would be, I survived." But characteristically, and thank God, Polly Murray broke that low and tragic barrier, making her own life harder so that eventually other people's lives would be easier. Jeremiah's oracle in the Old Testament affirms for us today a hard truth, one we hear often in the New Testament. The lives of God's people in the world may be so bleak, they must be reconstructed. Reconstruction follows destruction. But always, always, we are making room for redemption, salvation, and new creation. Jeremiah's oracle calls forth courage, imagination, vision, all of which God promises to give us. And we thank God for the firm and certain promise to redeem and make all things new.